Go ahead and get started. My name is Matt Brumley. I am in my third year. I think I looked at the list. Everybody on the list at least says they're Saline County resident. There may be some visitors to Saline County here. As a matter of fact, I know there are. I am in my third year as Saline County judge. You see on the screen up here, I'm going to take just a few minutes just to set some background, and then a very large component of what I want to do is hear from you. Now, with that being said, I've been talking to myself, preparing myself for a little bit, and I hope it comes through that my posture here tonight is not one of any sort of combativeness or defensiveness, but one that I believe truth is important and truth should be shared. That's why I want to hear from you all. And that's why I hope that we will respect one another. There's going to be different opinions in here. There's going to be plenty of opinions that differ from maybe what I have to tell you today. But it's very important to me that we're not here to try to make a bunch of points, but we're here to try to make a difference for a county that deserves it. Please be respectful of each other. Now, just a quick glance at the list. There's over 35 people in county that have signed up. So each person will have up to 3 minutes. You can see the math doesn't work out real well for that time frame. If you came with a group of people and multiple of you signed up, please get somebody, or somebody shared exactly what you were going to say. Maybe you'll consider deferring your time to somebody else. You can simply do that by, when I call your name, just say, give it to the next person. Also, be ready to come up here. I'm going to ask your name and your street. I don't want your address. Your name and your street in Saline County. If you're not in Saline County, then I'm going to say you'll go to the bottom of the list. We're going to hear from Saline County residents first. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this very short presentation, maybe. I want to start by just giving you some things, and I promise I'm not trying to remediate you, but I think there may be some people in the room that need to be refreshed, reminded, maybe hear it for the first time. We live in a county of about 130,000 people. The majority of those people live in the unincorporated areas of Saline County. Benton and Bryan obviously being our largest cities, but Alexander, Benton, Bryan, Bauxite, Haskell, Trasker, and Shannon Hills. You take all of those areas, you have a little over 62 square miles. Our county is 740 square miles. The other 680 square miles are in the unincorporated parts of Saline County, which are extremely diverse. Saline County currently has a 3.8-cent sales tax that is directed towards our Career Technical Education Center. This sales tax has yielded almost $50 million over the last 6 years. I believe when our books close at the end of June, that sales tax will be retired, and soon Saline County will have no sales tax. We'll be back to zero sales tax. The closest sales tax, lowest sales tax I can find in the state of Arkansas is a 0.5 cent sales tax, other than Monroe County, who also has zero sales tax. So where does your dollar go? I'm going to show you a couple of examples. There's over 20 examples like this. You can find them all on the Saline County website at the collector's office. This is one school, depending on where you are, and I'm going to speak in general terms because, again, there's over 20 examples like this one. This is where your dollar goes if you are in the Bauxite School District in the unincorporated portion of Saline County. This is where it is if you're in the Bryant School District in the unincorporated portion of Saline County. You'll notice that 80% of the dollar goes to our school districts. That 9% goes to county general, 5% to county roads, and 3% to the Saline County Library by vote of the people. In general terms, you take that dollar and 80 cents of your dollar goes to the school district in which you land. Of the other 20%, 10% of that's going to go to our general fund. Generally, about 6% is to roads and a little over 3% to the county library. In 2008, there was a vote taken to the people that 1 cent sales tax go to establish animal control, which would include a shelter in Saline County. That vote failed 66% to 34%. I'll speak about this a little bit in a second. There was also a ballot issue for consolidation of 911 services on that very same ballot. It also failed. It was an ask for a 186 sales tax. Some years later, about 5 to be exact, I'm imagining I wasn't on the Coon Court. I know people that were, but they were looking for a different way to fund animal control within Saline County. And in 2013 and 2014, an ordinance passed for personal and real property that there would be a $5 voluntary tax if the taxpayer said, I'm willing to pay $5 towards that. You can see it peaked in 2014 at $110, and this is where we are now, at $65,725 as far as the last dollars that were raised for that. Over the years, we have given those dollars in a couple of ways. We paid half to a sheriff's deputy that serves as animal control. Now, those ordinances that I speak of were focused on vicious and rabid animals. Keep in mind, that's the ordinance that this deputy is to comply with when he goes out to these areas. As you can see, we've taken a drastic downfall. The other parts of those funds were split for spay and neutering animals with the Saline Humane Society and the Hot Springs Village Humane Society. In 2023, I told representatives from both that if this downward trajectory continues, we're not going to be able to fund them, and I hope something changes. We launched a campaign in which we mailed out things. We put them in the collector's office for when people came in to pay their taxes. We used our social media platforms trying to encourage people and bolster more dollars from that volunteer tax. And it's been unsuccessful. Our budget. There's a lot of money that goes through our budget. There's also a statute, 142103. It's called the 90% rule. What it does is it ties our Coon Court's hands to only be able to handle 90% of the revenues that are anticipated to be generated for budgeting and appropriation purposes. Really, there's a couple of exceptions to that rule. If you receive grant dollars, you can use 100% of your award, and you can also use directed sales tax. You can use 100% of that as it was put in place by the vote of the people. If you look on the screen, you'll see that the 24,303,625 is what the quorum court passed in the budget for appropriations. It falls under that 90% ceiling that they must go by. We have now consolidated our 911 system in Saline County. All cities have entered in, and this has caused efficiencies, and money is one of those things that has helped us with those efficiencies. Yet, we still have to supplement that center with $1 million out of general. Also, our county general sheriff's department budget is about 6.2, and the jail budget of about 4.8. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I would argue that that is not even proved to be sufficient, because we run into the capacity problem with our jail. We're doing what we can right now to expand that jail. Okay, the animal control package. This is a breakdown, as you'll see. The $50,000 was the Saline County Humane Society. This isn't a depiction of going all the way back to 2013. But over the past 5 years, you can see how that has been laid out. Also, if you'll see down low here, Hayden Benton or Bryan Animal Control. We have partnerships with our cities that have animal shelters that I can't articulate the words to tell you my appreciation for the manner in which they step up, for the manner in which they come to the table and say, what can we do to help? Benton is in process of building a new animal shelter right now. Bryan operates an animal shelter. Both of them have full-time employees at those places. It is a costly resource for the citizens of those cities, but it's one that they do phenomenally, and they also help and assist the county. Terry Parsons, I called you and said thanks. And man, not even come close. Thank you for what you do in such tough situations as Director of Benton Animal Control. We have paid as much as almost $21,000 for the services of keeping animals while their day at court may come, and also euthanizing animals. Currently, the balance in that fund is $39,895. That's not going to cover the half FTE that I'm full-time equivalent of the animal control officer that I talked about. And it makes me nervous if we're going to have to reappropriate dollars if we have another cause to keep animals where we have contract agreements with the city of Benton. Last thing I'll say about that is, over the past 2 years, we've been working hand in glove with the mayors around this county. Alexandra, I just got off the phone with her, I don't know if she's here or not. She's got 2.5 square miles. She's got a real significant problem. We need to find real solutions. We need real resources to be able to meet the expectations and the solutions that people deserve in this county. I've run up on my time. I'm going to call the first name to come forward. You'll have 3 minutes. I've got somebody keeping time. If you run up against that 3 minutes, it's about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm just going to say close. That means you have 15 seconds to finish whatever it is that you want to say. The first person is Beverly Fitzpatrick. Beverly Fitzpatrick, I have 2 microphones set up. I'm hoping that they're both on. And you go ahead, if you'd identify yourself. Darn it. If somebody knows how to push that power button on that microphone, you'll see a power button right below that window. Angie, if you could turn that on, that'd be great. If you would recognize yourself with your name and what road.
I am Beverly Fitzpatrick. I'm in Lana Slaughter in Hot Springs Village, and I am representing the Animal Welfare League. And we were the recipients of this, and obviously that did hurt our state in the program, because I think the crux of the problem is overpopulation. If we can get that under control, then we won't have animals running everywhere. We have fortunately found another way to keep running our spay neuter clinics. We partnered with the Bissell Foundation and Vital Fixers, and we do 6 clinics a year, but that's only 60 animals every 2-day clinic. And that's like a finger in the diaper out here. So we really need to get better spay neuter control here. Clinics, whatever we need to do, because that's the only way to stop all these dogs running everywhere.
Thank you. Your name and your street.
Timothy Hanky. I live in Memphis on South Market Street. We too have suffered during this dog rampage, but here in Benton, we don't seem to want to do much about it. Not just the county, but Benton's not prepared for it. The money you spend for the 640 acres throughout the unincorporated part of town, of the city or the state, is a waste, because all these dog attacks are happening in the incorporated parts of town. The incorporated town, I should say, not out in the counties. We just lost a donkey, miniature donkey, and a goat due to dog attacks. They jumped in our yard about a week or so before Memorial Day, and they killed the goat. I informed our veterinary department about it, and the first thing they did is come out and told me the next day that I was in violation of code enforcement. Now, I had a goat, didn't care that some wild dog killed him, but I'm not allowed to have a goat. But you can have swine in the city of Benton. Well, there's something wrong with that. On Memorial Day, a week later, them dogs came back. About 30 minutes after my wife had just got through visiting the miniature donkey at the barn. The dogs got back to attack that donkey. I took the donkey up to Rosebud after I contacted our Benton Animal Control Unit. Now he helped, he got me the name of a good vet, but it was all the way to Rosebud. 2 trips later, the donkey still died, and $6,000 out of my pocket. By going into that office here in Benton, they're not really well equipped. I know they're overbooked with animals and all. There's a solution to my problem is to give me a guard dog. So I adopted a guard dog from them. The guard dog jumped the fence, came down in my garage while I was cooking. So not good he did. But I got one more dog out of our impound down here. Anyway, that's all I want to say. I'm sorry somebody got killed, and I'm really sorry it takes an event like this to get some kind of action to go on in this county.
Thank you, Kristen. Next up will be Wendy Stewart after Ms. McPherson. Please be ready.
I'm Shawn McPherson. I live on Oregon Trail in Saline County. I lived in Saline County for about 35 years. I have this, if anyone wants to look at it, but I'll briefly go over it. I have, first of all the condolences from Kayla and her family. I want all the gentlemen who said it's sad that this is what's brought us together. Everything that's right about our community. Everything where we get together and solve these problems is where we're going to get together and solve it as a community. And I'm going to say that I have ideas, but it's time, it's treasure, it's what we have in our community that is going to be the solution. We have money, we have ideas, we have buildings that aren't in use, we have this money, but we also have people who speak to our community. Why not find them? We have, we have stop signs that people run, we have cell phone usage in school zones, we have, like late fees, certain late fees that why not charge that, right? And it would be the type of thing that you wouldn't have to charge it for people who can't afford it. We have grant supports, we have, why not have fundraisers, right? It's the type of thing that you could donate to that wouldn't have to necessarily come out of this fund. We have, I just want to say, like, spay neuter clinics already for animals that we find out in the community that maybe somebody would want to have cremation services, something like that. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but just things that we could have, maybe like food or make blankets. I don't know, the kind of things that we do on Sunday at church, and come together and come up with more ideas and serve our community in ways that could raise money. And I mean, I'm so surely somebody has the land, somebody has ideas besides me, but there's ideas out there that we could raise money, is what I'm saying.
Thank you. Ms. Stewart, the next up will be Mike Bush.
I'm Maggie Stewart. I live in Alexander on Whipple, and it's just a few blocks literally from where Mackenzie was killed. Those dogs lived next door to me up until 5 months before they moved over there. They sold the property next to me that wraps around behind me. I never saw but maybe 2 or 3 dogs at a time as they were in the woods. They lived literally back in the woods. I've seen so many things, and I've had pit bulls come to my house, and I've had every kind of dog come up to me. On my way here, I've got a picture on my phone, leaving my house and turning the street, and there's a dog crossing the road, no collar, and he's hungry. And I carry food in my car. I've done this for years. I've done it 40 years. And when you pick up the phone to call somebody, anybody, can you help me with this dog? The answer is always no. Bauxite has been the biggest help with getting spayed and neutered for a cheaper price. My mother for years, and father for years ago, lived in Little Rock, and they had 2 ladies volunteer to catch cats. My mother ended up having 38 cats, and they fed every one of them, but they couldn't catch them. And they would clip their ear, and they would take them to a vet in Searcy for free. He would neuter and spay these animals. I think if everybody would at least reach out to veterinarians in Saline County and see if they would donate some of their time to spay and neuter, it's worth a shot to ask. It won't hurt anything. I know that it eliminated the problem at my mother's house. The animals lived to be a long time, and they ended up dying in old age. And she never had any more problems with it because they were spayed and they were neutered. That is the number one thing that needs to happen. When somebody picks up the phone, they need to know who to call. We need to know who to call when you've got 5 or 6 dogs. 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, we had 3 chow mix red dogs, 2 chow dogs, and a German Shepherd. None with a collar on it. comes into my yard, goes to my neighbor's yard and attacks her little dog. And she runs out and scares them, and they take off running over towards Emerald Mountain, up the hill and over the hill. Most of the dogs now, in the past 12 to 15 years, have come up from Emerald Mountain. They have no collars, no identification, and then they run back. I don't know where these old dogs are coming from, but the pack of dogs are getting back. And that's why we need to get the people from and call somebody that can at least come out and talk to us and make a report of it.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart.
You're welcome.
Mike Bush, and the name is Maggie Martin. Mike Bush. Ms. Martin, if you'll be ready to go, we have 2 microphones. I want to be respectful as we can on people's time.
My name is Mike Bush. I live in Bernie Circle. We show dogs through AKC and the International Canine Association. We do not breed, but all of our dogs are chipped, and they all have to be intact in order to be shown. We work with breeders and training their dogs and getting ready for going into the ring to be shown. We do have people that drop off rescue dogs with us. We can't handle them all. But the ones that we're able to bring in, we make sure they're all vaccinated. We train them to be placed in houses, and we do have them spayed and neutered. We just ask that we keep in mind the dog show people, that we do have to have our dogs intact, and so that they can be shown in different areas. Thank you.
Mr. Bush, you're obviously a very responsible dog owner. How many dogs do you have?
We have 20 in our house right now.
Thank you, Mr. Bush.
They all have different runs, so they're not all the same.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Bush. Ms. Martin? Next will be James Wilson after Ms. Martin. Again, please be ready, guys.
Good evening, my name is Maggie Martin. I've been in Arkansas since March of 21, so I'm really a newcomer, so to speak. I first and foremost want to acknowledge and extend my sympathies for the family of that young lady. I'm terribly short-term, the young girl that passed away, and then the one that got mauled here recently. I cannot even imagine the depth of those people's grief with mom. I just can't even wrap my mind around that. But I will say, I'm going to just share something very briefly. When I first came here, I was all excited because I drove 1,600 miles with my dog, who is an American Staffordshire Terrier, in the back seat, straight down to 40, and there I am in Benton. 2 lefts and a right here in Benton. And I was all excited and coming because I'm thinking, oh, when you just say, I hope I don't offend anyone, there's people love dogs, and then there's people who really love dogs. There's a distinguishing line. I grew up as the only child for 15 years. I've had dogs my entire life. I've had Dobermans, I've had Rots, Shepherds, Labs, and now I have a Staffy. And Facebook has just gone insane reading the comments, and most of them seem to be from highly emotionally charged females, women. And I got some statistics thrown at me that 31 people have been killed in the country. And I'm thinking that had to be a mistake, because in my response is, and how many millions of people are there in the United States? But nothing is going to be solved. Nothing's going to be solved by emotional blowouts on Facebook. And I came under personal attack on my character, and I'm more concerned about keeping my dog. Because if someone told me I had to leave the county or the state, I'd say, see ya. Ben? Oh, okay. So I just want to say, I can see where we're doing a lot of improvement in some of our services, especially to help fortify animal control efforts. Animal control has been wonderful to me, wonderful. So, that place over there, I hope I'm not stepping over a line. I don't want to, they need a prettier place. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. James Wilson. And after that, I believe it says Eric. If your name's Eric, you signed up fairly early. I feel like that's you. James Wilson. All right, Eric, come on up. After Eric, we'll have Kristen Higgins.
The first thing I'd like to say is sorry for the thing that we have to be up here because of a girl getting killed. And I had 4 goats killed. 3.5 killed. They killed the 2 small ones, killed the mama. They let the daddy and 7 dogs attacking the daddy, and it hit back in the front. He had his front legs still going, and he was going after the 7 dogs. And by the time I ran in, I couldn't find him. The pistol, got the shotgun, shot those dogs with bird shot. That's all I could grab. Took off, never seen those. We've constantly had dogs killed. Next door neighbor, I'm not going to say his name, his wife's a school teacher here. But we've had the sheriff out there multiple times, and his dog killed this dog 50 foot from my mom's back porch. 50 foot from my mom's back porch. She was killed. $3,000 I spent, and I'm still paying. And Chris Billboard had to pay me a penny. And the sheriff's department pulled up one time, and that was an old retriever that was the service, not service dog, but he went to the nursing homes up here, and I left him in the nursing home. The first thing the sheriff's department's doing, pulling his pistol out at a golden retriever that is so docile, but I can't shoot a dog. It's a bull mastiff that's running on my property killing my dog. He told me I can't kill that dog. And, he's still running the property. He gets on our property daily. He sits 30 foot from my property line. But we called y'all, the sheriff's department, why can't they? They buy brand new, nice trucks, but they buy brand new rims. Why can't they put some cheaper rims? There's ways to cut. Y'all put these black fences all around the school. Why couldn't it have been chain link fences? It would have been cheaper. There's ways to cut money back. We should have a dog pound instead of a walking trail. I know what it costs. I worked for James A. Rogers for multiple years, and he never did me. He paid me, he paid everybody. Y'all got $70,000 for this dirt work person. And I never worked for his son, but I worked for James A., and he did never not pay anybody right. And this guy supposedly tears up everything, and everybody offers all the $70,000. And it's their own employee. My sister-in-law that passed away, she was vice president. Give me 15 seconds. She got the concrete company to help, I think, the Humane Society in the 90s for free concrete. There's ways we can get companies, we can put their company names on these buildings, get advertising.
Thank you,
I'm Kristen Higgins, and I live on Vivian Drive. But I'm actually going to ask y'all's forgiveness and permission. I want to give my time up that our latest victim is here, and she wasn't able to make it because of her injuries and time to sign up, so I want to give my time to her, if that's okay.
Ma'am, if you would state your name, please.
My name is Michelle Griffin, and I live at Dean Motors on Court, Lea Chisum South. I was going to, I just wanted to say that, this is what can happen if you have a dog that's not on a leash, that hasn't been, that's territorial, or is aggressive in any way, shape, or fashion. These dogs came at me across the street from where I was standing, and I didn't do anything to these dogs. One pit bull was one who done this, and I had problems for the rest of my life with these injuries. I can't feel the leg on this side, down my toes, and it's just really sad. I was trying to exercise, around it's so hot during the daytime. And I'm Indian, so I get really hot. But just everybody can caution with your animals. I treat my dog, I have 2 dogs that come right now, pit bulls all my life, like the lady said earlier. I've never had a problem with my dogs walk behind me in town without a leash or a collar. And never straight from my side, ever. And they're the most well-behaved kids, they're my children. I treat them like a child, I talk to them like a child. They respond to me like a child. Dogs are people too. And this dog was hurting. I don't know what was wrong with this dog, but I'm known to be a whisperer to dogs. Animals love me. And there's something wrong with this dog. I don't know what it was, but that dog has to lash out at me. And I'm still undergoing physician care for this. And it really, really hurts. That's all I need to say. Just, if you have an animal, treat it like a child. It's a person too.
Thank
I was just going to say, to keep this conversation from happening, something that we could do, I'm her son. In the police report, it says that they asked if they could kill the dog, but the captain authorized for tranquilization, but the animal control said, I'm not authorized to do that. I'm not authorized for tranquilization, that's only the administrator. We need to have more people that are in that humane society and in that animal welfare that are allowed to be able to tranquilize and sedate these dogs in order to be able to capture them and identify the right animal that is attacking them.
So I know the main person, thank you very much. Debbie and Harold, Debbie or Harold. And then after that is going to be Ms. Perlman, Jamie Perlman, Janine Perlman.
I'm Harold Lutcher, live on Tadlock Circle in Saline County, Arkansas. I've been at that same spot for 45 years. And for 45 years we've been talking to the county about some dog control. We took in many stray dogs, and out of the woods has helped us adopt a bunch of them. One time we had 18 dogs we took in. And like the gentleman said before me, there's money out there. Like he said, we don't need a new walking track. I don't know how much money that's going to cost, but a bunch. We don't need that. And then like we were saying about J.A. Roberts, got his equipment tore up, the county's going to pay $750,000.
Let me stop this second. I've tried to restrain myself all I can. And I'm good with people expressing what they want to say. when you stand up in front of a bunch of people, and you say the county's gonna pay $750,000 for somebody that busted up some equipment, it's just wholly and totally false.
Well,
Wholly and totally
it was
false.
on the news.
Okay?
It was on the news.
It may have been on the news, sir, but I'm telling you, that is false. We're here to talk about animal control.
that's
Not $750 million. The county was never gonna put up.
Okay,
I put up some of my money.
I understand, that's correct.
Thank you.
But every time this comes up, I used to go to foreign court meetings all the time. And they can't do nothing without, we need more money, got to have more money. But they got money to build a walking trail. They got money to build, to me, what's a useless airport over there. So that's all I got to say. But there's independent people like out of the woods, we make donations to them, they help us adopt dogs. The government ain't done nothing for us. We gotta do it on our own, and these individuals, like out of the woods and some more rescue people, that's all private. If it wasn't for them, it'd be the worst shape of our man.
Thank you, Brad. Janine Wood. And then after that is Ms. Woodbury.
I'm Janine Wood, and I live on Willie Lane on Barth Road. For the past 24 years, my husband and I have lived with our beloved rescue dogs just a few hundred yards from where Michaela Fortner lived and where she died. We've spent thousands of dollars on fencing to keep our dogs in and stray dogs out. Packs of up to 15 loose, uncollared dogs routinely come up to our fence and harass us and our dogs. We cannot walk out our gate to retrieve mail or tend to our trash bin without carrying pepper spray. Safe walking, jogging, and bicycling are impossible because we are constantly threatened by loose dogs. Most drives down Barth Road require swerving or stopping to avoid hitting dogs on the road. Numerous dogs have been dumped on our property. We've spent thousands of dollars spinning, neutering, and treating those dogs for heartworm, then fostering or adopting them because all rescues are overflowing. I really appreciate the background that you've given us tonight, and I would like to say that I would be in strong support of the sales tax. I know that's not very popular, but it raises a lot of money, and the county needs more money to do what I'm going to ask you to do. I've got a wish list here. We urgently ask the foreign court to enact ordinances that require 4 things. 1, dogs must be leashed or contained. Single point tethering or chaining should be banned as dangerous and inhumane. This is in Iowa and many other jurisdictions. Number 2, dogs must be licensed by the county. Licensure should require proof of vaccination and of sterilization. Number 3, when these conditions are not met, dogs subject to complaint should be captured or confiscated and held in a county-funded shelter. Finally, dogs at any individual residence must be limited in number. Yes. To implement these requirements, we ask for an animal control office that is funded for adequate staff, equipment, and facilities. We ask for a vigorous public education campaign regarding low-cost spay, neuter, and vaccination programs that are partly funded by the county, and incentives, perhaps partnering with companies such as PetSmart for spay-neuter compliance. We urge the Supreme Court to urge our state legislators to enact statewide legislation that would mandate and help.
Ms. Harlan, I'm terribly sorry. I got to hold the rule to you two. I'll stay after and listen to the rest. Marie Woodbury. After that is Kristen Summers. Ms. Woodbury, Ms. Kristen Summers, and after that is Ms. Slaughter.
And I'm Kristen Summers. I live on Stewart in Alexander, Arkansas, in a small dead-end subdivision. I reside in Saline County since 2003. And in that time, I have had dumped or picked up almost 40 animals. I'm in a dead-end subdivision. It's famous for people dumping animals. I've witnessed a $50,000 truck throw a dog out. I scream running, can't get tags. I've never had kittens or puppies because I've always had them spayed or neutered. I've always been responsible. I spent thousands of dollars on a chain link and wood privacy fence to keep my dogs protected from animals, dogs that are in the woods behind my house. Saline County Humane Society was my saving grace for many years with many of these animals. However, their funding and their staffing and their facilities have been compressed into this. It needs to be like Pulaski County Animal Village. And nobody likes taxes, especially in this crazy economy. However, every animal lover should vote for a tax that's mandatory, not voluntary. My husband's bedridden with a brain tumor and fractured back. I've had multiple sclerosis for 20 years. Yet, 5 weeks ago, I picked up an emaciated dog in my ditch with an overtight collar. She was in the heat. She was young. Somebody threw her out. But yet, she was kennel trained. She knew how to sit. She knew how to fetch. She became apparently a problem for someone. And our kitty had become a dumping ground for animals. And I'm sorry, but I've always said, if you let your animals run, you let your kids run. So that's all I have to say. I hope you understand before another innocent life, the 15-year-old girl was passionate about animals, as most of us are, and she lived her truth, trying to help an elderly couple take care of animals that had been dumped on them. I'm 62, my husband's 68. I'm doing what I can. But hey, Saline County courts need to step up and do what they need to do. Thank you for your time.
And then after that, I believe it's Ms. Coon, Lana Slaughter.
Hello, my name is Lana Slaughter, and I live on Mill Road in East End. And my problem is not with dump dogs. My problem is with people that keep so many dogs in their neighborhood. My next door neighbor has 10 dogs, at least 10, in their yard. These dogs are so mean that most of the time he has to keep them on a chain. If not, they chase everybody that goes up and down the road. I don't know how many times. I'm 76 years old, and I cannot go out in my yard. I cannot walk to my mailbox without carrying pepper spray or something. If one of those dogs are loose, they come across that fence just like it's not even standing there. I've had them chase me all the way back to my house. And I think we need stronger laws for people that has animals. I mean, I know there's people that has animals and they take great care of them. But this property, they do not even, you don't ever see them interact with the dogs. I hear them, they bark 24 hours a day. And I know they're not taken care of. They all look like they're skinny bones. And I have talked at Leslie and other people, and they always tell me, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's nothing we can do. And I think Saline County should be able to do something. I mean, we're going to be reading about something this over here, and it's just not inside the city limits, it's everywhere, that we need better control. Than these people so much money, and they know how money builds your chemist.
Thank you, Ms. Slaughter. I believe it's Ms. Coon, Kuhn, and then Lea Chisum. I couldn't hear you yet. You Mr. Coon,
And I live on Mimi Lane in Alexander.
excuse me, are you, Coon is the name?
Mr. Kuh has trouble walking, so I'm taking.
Go ahead.
We thought maybe there would be my guy.
Go ahead, sir.
We have got at least 3 or 4 dogs in our neighborhood that have threatened our wives. There's 2 black dogs. One of the neighbors sitting back here moved to the pound, and they said even to euthanize him, he would have to pay for it to euthanize him. When he got back home, there was a sheriff's department sent to his house to make sure that he didn't shoot them. Now, what are we supposed to do if our wives, I may be 7 years old, boy is 86, we aren't able to take care of these dogs. I love dogs. My wife's got a beautiful little dog. We were working in the yard the other day, and this big shaggy dog comes walking up that evidently had been in the woods. It had real long hair, and I've been out there with a saw dryer that was 10 foot long out of that dog's hair. People shouldn't have dogs that they're not going to take care of. And I'm going to relate an instance that happened to me about 20 years ago. My dad had a small nose. He lived right in the edge of the big city limits. He had to have surgery, and I had him on my house. And I was redoing his kitchen, and I walked down there one day, and I looked out the backyard, and about half of his goats were dead. I walked out there and went to look at the little black dog over there chilling. And I asked my dad, I said, where's your shotgun? He said, oh, we're the city limits, we can't shoot. We have to call the police. So we called the police. Lucky for me and us, at that time, the men came down there. I told him what happened. He said, I was afraid to if somebody killed my goat, that dog would be dead. And I told him I went and got shot, killed the dog, and we called the man and it happened. And he claimed the dog and he paid my dad to the goat. That's being responsible for your dogs. We need somebody. There are 2 black dogs in our neighborhood that I was talking about a minute ago. They're going to hurt somebody because they have threatened people. I'm sorry, no people went over, but we just need somebody in that area out there where they built dogs to come and take control of it and not let them just run free. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Lea Chisum, and after Ms. Chisum, we will Tyler Platt.
I get too close all the time, so I'm going to back it up. My name is Lea Chisum. I live in Shannon Hills off of Carousel. I want to give my condolences to Stephanie and Dana for the loss of their daughter, Michaela. And I just want to say I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that did not happen to you. So I'm sympathies to you and your family. From what I'm hearing, this seems like a county-wide issue. I've lived in Saline County my entire life, all over the county, from Mapleville, Bryant, Benton, Shannon Hills. Dogs have always been a problem through the whole county. So I feel like this is something that we should involve everybody, every entity. I think we should have the stakeholders. I think maybe we should have a task force maybe. Is that something y'all have thought about looking into, get stakeholders throughout the county? Because I'm seeing that we're doing funding towards it, so I don't see why we can't all come together. Shauna has a great breakdown of funding when it comes to fines. It doesn't have to be people in the county. We can partner with the state police and get those people that run up and down 30. They tear up our roads. They make all that traffic. They don't care. They throw the trash out too. Hey, we can fund it that way. Add a little line item on funds for them when they come in and speed. Also, some other suggestions I have, because I don't really like to just complain about stuff and have stuff brought up. But what about using the 309 inmates in the jail facility? I know that we got a few $1 million from the COVID funds to expand it. How about we build some animal controller services there and allow those trustees to not train the animals to really work with them, but that's where you can have a dedicated crew to work it. Also maybe, I don't know, I feel like these are kind of pointless because I was actually at April 7th meeting and this is talked about. So I see some of the justice pieces of the audience. I want to give y'all 14 copies so that you have a copy, they have a copy, so funding isn't an issue. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tyler Platt, followed by maybe Diana Angelo.
Sorry, I'm tall. Hi there, I'm Tyler Platt, and I have lived in Saline County my whole life. I went to Brown High School a number of years ago, so I'm not going to go there. But I am a concerned animal lover, Saline County resident. I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the family of Michaela. Just a horrible tragedy, again, horrible that had happened for all of us to come together here. I do appreciate the county providing a forum for us to respond. I lived here my whole life, and my mom used to literally carry around dog food because we see stray dogs all the time, and there's nowhere for them to go. And I'd like to reiterate what Ms. Stewart said about there's no one to call. There's no one to call. There's no one to come get these animals. There's nowhere for them to go. And I understand that that's a problem because I also have to carry food and water. And even if I was to capture a stray dog, I can't take them anywhere. I don't think it should be on personal people to spend their own funds to help these animals when the county could be allocating these funds. And I understand that an additional sales tax would be, sounds bad, right? A lot of people might not like that. But there are opportunities for private funding that the county can apply for through the ASPCA and other private entities. I think if the county shows that they're making an effort to put that funds, to find those funds elsewhere, maybe the taxpayers might be more willing to vote for a tax to support this work. We need funds allocated for dedicated animal control officers who have specialized training to take care of these dogs in a humane way and get them to a county-funded shelter. And of course, we need laws, specific laws written for these animal control officers to enforce. But there's lots of options for funding outside of just the sales tax, and I think the county should absolutely explore all of these options. And I think it's wonderful that everyone has shown up here tonight to talk about it, and I think we have to continue to talk about it. And this, I would love to see what specific action or follow-up the county is going to do, if not monthly, quarterly, to make sure this issue is resolved or on the next ballot. Thanks.
I'm Diana Angelo. I live in Lonsdale on Fawn Glade, resident of Saline County. I belong to a large rescue group. Over the last 10 years, we've sent over 10,000 dogs to northern states. It's a statewide problem. There are not enough adoptable homes. We
neuter laws. We have too many puppies going on, but one of the interesting things we're realizing now, our dogs going to Boston, Massachusetts, and New England, where they're a little more affluent, and they're sending off DNA tests for their new adoptable dogs from Arkansas, and finding out dogs 10 and 12 years apart are related. It's the same irresponsible people that are breeding or letting their dogs breed and dumping their puppies on the forest or in kill shelters across the state. And we must have spay-neuter laws to end this problem. And that's the reason we send them north, because those states, many northern states, have spay-neuter laws. And so they don't have shelters full of unwanted dogs.
Thank you, followed by Lea Chisum.
I'm Derek Smith. I lived in Crossroads my entire life. I want to say I don't think we should have had to lose a 15-year-old life and somebody else being severely injured, to have to be here. Recently, a cousin of mine in Nashville also lost a horse and had a mule severely injured by some wild dogs. And I oppose tax on the whole county for dogs. We shouldn't have that. I think we should fine dog owners when a dog does something. And I think we should require a permit anytime somebody wants to own a large, potentially vicious dog. And also, I think there's a $1 million liability policy to own that dog. That's a pretty good start for a way to get some of the money right there. There's got to be something done. I mean, this has a lot of history. This goes back 50-something years. I mean, I remember my dad trying to take dogs to the Humane Society 30 years ago, and they'd say, we can't take it. And he'd go back that night and tie it to the gate and set some food there, so they had to take it. That's what happened. And something's got to be done. You can't build a shelter big enough to house them all. The problem is bigger than that. The population of dogs is, I see you shaking your head, it's true. The population of dogs is way bigger than you can build a house for. I mean, when you call them to come get a dog, it's always, we can't take them, we're full, we have nowhere to go with them. Well, they're going to have to euthanize them at a rate at such they can go out and pick up dogs. I mean, that's the only solution that I see. And, like I said, I don't think we should have to lose a life and have another one recently, somebody else severely injured in order for us to show up here. This should have happened decades ago. I've got a lot more ideas I could throw on you, but I can't do it in 3 minutes. I just think it's something that's got to change. We've got to find these dog owners that are responsible.
Lea Chisum is up. Stephanie Johnson is next.
Hello, my name is Lea Chisum, and I live on the street on Barth Road. It's right down where that happened. There's a lot from me, and then to the right is where that is. So what I want to say about that is I dealt with those dogs all the time. I just moved to Oklahoma in around November. Had a lot of people stop by the community and welcome me there, very welcoming people. But every single one said, the only thing is those blame dogs, is what they said. And I thought, okay, well, I found out about the dogs.
Did you say that was in November?
In November is when I moved up from Oklahoma in. I started having problems with them probably around February, because that's when we started working more on Oklahoma. But I talked to neighbors and things like that, and they were telling me how bad it was. Someone down the street, they have little small dogs who just went out to check the mail. They were scared because the dogs would come up. The dogs came in my yard as I would go over there every day because I'm remodeling the house. Those dogs would be in the fence. And all of a sudden they'd see me, and I'm a ways away, and they come just roaming at it, just flying down there to bark at me, to growl and all that kind of stuff. So I told my son, I said, I'm getting a little bit nervous about these dogs. I said, I mean, it's like 13 or 15 dogs. And he said, yeah, that's not good. And I said, it's like a pack of dogs. And I always heard a pack of dogs. It's dangerous. These are just everyday dogs. They weren't pit bulls. They weren't Rottweilers. They weren't the scary dogs that that people talk about all the time. But they pack. And when dogs start packing, that's when they're vicious. And they had a leader. They had a leader come over like an alpha male. And I kept saying, they get rid of that alpha male, that would help, because he's the one leading all of them. But what the problem is, to me, and I agree with everything everybody's saying, what the problem is, we have people that want to do these, what do you call it, shelter homes. That's great, but take care of it. Don't have it where the fence is like a little bitty fence and they can get out. That's the problem. They got out all the time. I moved out there for it to be peaceful. All I hear is dogs barking and carousing and growling all the time. It's not peaceful out there when you have that. I hate to say it, now that they've taken the dogs away, it is a lot more peaceful. But I think they had 30 dogs there, and I think they took 14 away. How many are still there? Well, I know a lot of them are puppies. They're going to grow up. And what are we going to do about that? To me, where they live, if they're going to have dogs like that, they need to have high fences and things like that. And do something about it, because, or not have them live around other people like that. Have a way out there that would have dogs like that. So.
Thank you, Ms. Higgins. Stephen Johnson, followed by David Rhodes.
I'm Sanford Johnson, I'm one at Glen Alexander. I'm one of the JPs, I'm in foreign court, my first term, turning about the public. I too want to express my condolences to Michaela's family, and tell them, everybody in here, your county government has failed you for decades. Just because a tax didn't pass in 2008 doesn't mean other solutions couldn't have been found for the money. There are grants, there's other things that we mentioned here tonight, that somebody could have looked into, but that never happened. I've been talking to people that are wanting leash laws. I'm in favor of that. Dogs don't need to be running around or loose. People in the county, I get that they need to let other dogs roam free. That's fine. But again, we need leash laws in this county. If we need other laws, and I'm in favor also, limiting people that can have dogs. I mean, limit dogs to 5 or 4, whatever. But people also can take care of the dogs. If they get dogs or other animals, take care of them. Get them spayed, neutered, rabies, which is a state law in this state. So if they're not getting the rabies vaccine, it's breaking state law. But nobody in the county wants to actually make sure the state law is enforced. So there's lots of things that can be done. We just need to work together as a core force, get to work, fix it.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. David Rhodes, followed by Larissa Powell.
My name is David Rhodes. I live in Snow Lane, and I'm going to tell you, I understand you have a hard job, and your law enforcement group has a hard job, because if you read your ordinance, y'all cannot do anything unless it bites. Unless you happen to live in Hot Springs Village, and then they say any dog which is, when unprovoked, in a vicious or terrorizing manner, approaches any person in apparent attitude of attack on the streets, sidewalks, or any common property or public grounds or places. We, as I call it, unincorporated parks, do not have that. Your guys have got to determine if it's a vicious dog or not. Where I live, I have a neighbor who has 2 dogs, and they have literally tried to chase me through my yard, on the street in front of my yard, and for a long time I required my wife to carry pepper spray and a horn. Now, when the Saline County Sheriff's contacted the gentleman, he said, hey, we don't have a leash law in Saline County. I'm good. So we're allowing dogs to run loose in the county because we don't have any kind of enforcement for y'all to use, I call it. We need to give y'all some ammunition or whatever you want, some strength and teeth in the law So when there is a dog that's chasing people in their own yards or in the street, either A, we can do what we feel like is necessary, or y'all can. We're keeping the sheriff did show up, he talked to the guy, and essentially nothing was done. And since then, I guess I'm out for dog in my neighborhood now, because they don't bother me. It took 3 years, and it shouldn't. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Rosen. And we have time for a couple more. Lisa Powell.
My name is Lisa Powell. I live on Hood Road in Foxhead, Arkansas, Saline County. In our area, we worry a lot about the dogs attacking kids that are getting off the bus, right where we live. There are kids getting off the bus and a whole bunch of dogs. I mean, we have one that's attacked 3 people, and they have a fence, and that's not even working. Right next door to us, or around where we live, we wound up seeing another dog who tore a dog in half. Like brutally attacked them. You can't report abuse because you don't know who the heck to go to. I mean, we've tried. You know, we don't know where to go to. Sure, I can't go outside and walk because I have to be armed. If not, I'm going to get attacked or I'm going to get chased. My nephew got chased by a dog that was crossroads too. I got chased checking the mail. My son's autistic. I can't even let him out the back door to go and play in a fenced area without having our dogs or being armed because I'm worried that there's going to be a dog that's going to jump the fence and hurt him. This has been an ongoing issue for several people where we live. And I have to watch all the kids like a hawk because I'm so worried they're going to get hurt. This is a matter of time that someone's going to get killed or another kid's going to get killed. This is not just a, you know, where it's going. I don't know about allocating funds or anything like that, but you know, I know down my street I haven't seen a paving truck, I haven't seen a salt truck or anything in years. It would be nice to have at least someone that can take care of it, or someone you can call and say, hey, this is what's going on in this neighborhood, in this area. And it's okay. Hey, I know someone that's abusing an animal. I can't even do that. And I've seen animals that were left out in horrible conditions. And I can even call somebody and say, hey, that's really wrong, that's what's going on. I can't do that. You know, I know everyone's talking about leash laws and stuff like that, and that doesn't really apply where I'm at. You know, people aren't walking a dog around, where they're not, most people don't even have a fence. We have a fence. Most people don't even have that, and even that isn't going to stop them. The one that I was talking about that chased my nephew, there's a fence there. He just jumps it.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. Is Larry Powell in the same, is that the same home? Yeah. I'm gonna skip to the next one. I'll stay after Ms. Powell. Larry Matthews, and then our last one's gonna be Christina Hamilton.
I'm Larry Matthews. I live on Kristen Circle in the Sardis community. I'm a cyclist. I'm going to be speaking for the people that ride bicycles in Saline County. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of dogs. And I've been bit. I've had friends that have been bit. I wrecked my bike from hitting a dog. And people need to realize if I have to call an ambulance, I'm sending you the bill, and you're not going to like it. If your dog bites me severely, I die. You get sued. It's just, the problem is there's just too many dogs. There are low-cost and free spay and neuter clinics. Find them. That's all I have to say.
Thanks for
My name is Christina. I live on Wood Drive. I've lived in Saline County for over 20 years, and I have been a dog rescuer the entire time. Over the years, when I have seen a loose dog or dogs that have been dumped, I have called the city shelters and the County Humane Society at least a dozen times before finally giving up on calling them at all. And the answer was always the same. They were full and they couldn't help. I'm not blaming them. They are all doing their best, but we don't have adequate resources for the county. I started sending dogs to New England because they didn't have the overpopulation problem that we have. After over 10 years of sending our abandoned dogs to New England, the average time for a dog to get adopted is getting longer. I'm concerned that they are reaching saturation, and we can't expect them to fix our problems forever. Michaela was trying to be a part of the solution in the absence of county resources. What happened to Michaela was a tragedy, but it happened because a few abandoned dogs quickly turned into a pack of 20 plus loose dogs. Not because of any specific breed. As Michelle's son already mentioned, the dog had to be shot with a rifle because they could not humanely bring the dog in due to there only being one tranquilizer gun for all of Saline County and it not being available. I want to thank Michelle for acknowledging how wonderful pit bulls can be and the fact that the issue is aggressive dogs and dogs running loose. We urgently need better laws regarding sterilization and backyard breeders, but to stay on topic for this town hall, we need more resources for animal services and control in Saline County. These tragedies occurred due to a lack of resources, and they didn't have to happen.
It's 7:20. I want to thank Benton School, Dr. Nail, their staff for allowing us to use this place. And I must be respectful of the time that we said that we were going to. I'd be remiss. Humane Society of Saline County in 2024 spayed or neutered 4,173 animals. So far in 2025, they spayed or neutered 2,068 animals. Since 2013, they have spayed and neutered over almost 54,000 animals. Take this how you want to. Ann Sanders and her team, and there's plenty of others, Southern Hearts, some rescue groups, they're doing it. There are people that are unable to physically, and they're giving of their time, or they're $5 or more. We've got some real challenges. Yeah, I'm your county judge. I am also a dad of 3, and I'll talk to you right after this, right back there if you want to, okay? You want to keep talking about bike trails. You know, come. I would welcome anybody to come in and look at the laws that are put in place and the dollars. We cannot get a grant for animal care and build a bike trail. Nor can we get a transportation grant and build a dog shelter. Nor can we use our road money and build a dog shelter, nor can we take library money and build roads. There are rules that are in place. I'd be happy to explain those to you. You don't have to agree with it, but I'll show you the statutes and the law that has to do with those. When you call somebody about a dog that's there, sir, I want to tell you that we have very limited resources that's been put out. We have sheriff's deputies that respond to animal problems. I don't know that that's the best way to be doing this. When we get the same calls about lawbreakers, it was mentioned, speeders, stop signs, four-wheelers in my neighborhood, all of those things. And listen, your experience is your experience, and it's true, and it happened. And I realize that. There's a perspective of an experience of the Saline County Sheriff's Office that are taxed with resources. And when they're in East End and they get a call of a stray dog on Buffalo Road, sometimes that dog's no longer there. But I can promise you, it was not Saline County government that put it there, but we are tasked with trying to figure out a better solution and do better. I, along with many others, totally recognize that. There's different kinds of people in Saline County. There are dog lovers, there's people that can't stand dogs. There's cat lovers, there's people that can't stand cats. There's responsible dog owners and pet owners, and there are extremely irresponsible dog and pet owners. We're yielding the fruit of many irresponsible pet owners. Just is what it is. These dogs didn't ask to be dumped off and have absolutely no discipline. There's people that know that their dogs should be spayed and neutered and decide not to anyway. I tell you, please, peer accountability is powerful at times. There's going to be those that just don't care. They just absolutely don't care. These are not excuses. I'm asking you guys to get in here and help us. And I know many of you are helping us in such a big way. Let me say something real clearly. You are allowed to protect yourself on your property. Okay? You are allowed to protect yourself on your property. If you feel that you are about to be harmed, killed, or otherwise, you can neutralize that situation. Well, get somebody to stay the night with you. Let me say this. I'm a father of 3, and there was a tragedy that struck 2 weeks ago that I can't articulate. I sat late in the evening last Friday with our prosecuting attorney's office, our chief deputy in our sheriff's office, Deputy Jack Campbell, who's responsible for tasks that's much larger than one person can handle. And the heartbreak in that room can't even come close. I know, measuring the friends and family of what happened to Kevin. It's not lost on us. We have many components to Saline County government. I believe one of the biggest reasons people move to a place is to know that they're safe. And that's not minimized just to animals. That's jail, that's law enforcement, that's road, that's bridges, that's many things. Here's what I can tell you. My number, I'll have a card, but if you want to take it down, It's 501-303-5640. If you want to have, yeah, well, 501, or you can see me afterwards, I've got a few cards. 303-5640. I hope most people can say when I was emailed that I said, hey, and this is my flaw, not anybody else's. I don't keep a good schedule, so Vicki makes my appointments and gets mad at me if I try to. If you want to come in and meet with me, I will meet with you. I will talk to you. And I'm not going to give you just, if you were looking to make us better, our opinions don't have to line up. The main root cause is we want to make things better. I thank you for coming out tonight. I'm going to stay a little bit afterwards. I'd be happy to talk to you, and sir, I'd love to talk to you. Thank you all very much for coming out.